Hello and welcome to Rathods IAS Academy. Today in this session, we are going to see very important articles that appeared in our today's newspaper. So let's get started with our discussion. First of all, let us see important topics of the day. And later on, we are going to see each and every topic from prelims and as well as mains point of view. And at last, I'll be giving you prelims practice questions also so that you can understand how questions can be asked from that topic. Okay, the first topic we are going to see in this class is about India-UK Social Security Pact. It is not retrospective. So here you have to know about what is that concept of DCC that we saw in yesterday's class. And here you have to see about one important word called as retrospective. So on this UPSC can ask you a question. Already we discussed how questions can be asked from this topic in our yesterday's class. And this topic is important from GS paper 2 under international relations because it is part of trade deal between India and UK. And next topic is BSF initiates technical study to fence marshy Sundarbans. So here this article is talking about India-Bangladesh border, and now we are trying to use natural borders across this India and Bangladesh because of terrain related challenges. So here they are thinking about whether we can use the Sundarbans as a border between India and Bangladesh or not. So here you have to know about Sundarbans, you have to know about BSF, and you have to see why our government is trying to have a natural fence. So this topic is important from defense, and even this topic is important from IR from GS paper 2 point of view. And next topic is marginal dip in number of rural job scheme workers. This article is talking about MG Narega. So here already you know that MG Narega scheme had been replaced with VBG Ramji, right? So now because of the shift from MG Narega towards this VBG Ramji, now there is decrease in number of rural workers who had been registered with that new scheme. So here you have to see about some basic facts regarding this VBG Ramji. And next topic is China Great Wall tames desert growth, but fight not over. Actually, to fight against desertification, China came up with this project of Green Wall, that is called as Great Green Wall. And in the similar lines, even in Africa also they came up with this Green Wall. Even in India also we started this project of Green Wall to stop desertification or expansion of our Thar desert in our country. So now there is one article which talked about what is the efficiency of this Green Wall of China. And this topic is important from GS paper 3 under environment and ecology. And next topic is export gains. This article is saying that there is increased number of exports from our country, but on another side we are facing lots of challenges. One important challenge we are facing is trade deficit. So here we have to see about in which sectors there is increased exports of our country and what exactly the challenges we are facing and what measures we have to take to overcome these challenges, and you have to suggest some measures. So this topic is very important from mains point of view. Okay, this is important from economy from GS paper 3. Now see this article guys, read out the title. India-UK Social Security Pact is not retrospective. Okay, the keyword here is India-UK Social Security Pact. Pact is nothing but agreement. And one more keyword is retrospective. You have to understand those two. So in yesterday's class, we discussed about DCC. We discussed about India-UK trade deal came into effect from yesterday onwards. In that, what are two things we discussed? One is on Indian goods, there is no import duty and export duty, right? So, right. And next one here is what we discussed. There will be no double contribution related to social security. What we discussed in yesterday's class, if Indian workers who are going to this UK for temporary period, if they work in if they work in UK for temporary period, they have to pay social security contribution in UK and even they have to pay social security contribution in India. Because of this, that will leads to financial burden. As part of this trade deal, what we discussed, there is no need of paying of social security contribution in UK. If they pay in India, it is enough. So this is called as double contribution convention, which is part of this India UK trade deal, which came into effect from yesterday onwards. And now there is one more keyword which is added here. That is nothing but India UK Social Security Pact is not retrospective. So here you have to understand what is the meaning of retrospective. Even in your polity also, especially when you study your fundamental rights topic, you will come across this topic of retrospective. What is a retrospective means nothing but when this trade deal came into effect from yesterday, right? From yesterday onwards, this trade deal came into effect. Okay. Before this trade deal, many Indians went to UK to work for temporary period. Indian workers went to UK before this trade deal had been signed. That means whenever this trade deal came into effect from here onwards, it will work. It will not imply to the people who are already in UK, who are working. That is called as not retrospective. Retrospective means nothing but it will be acting before this trade deal come into existence. But this trade deal is not retrospective. That means from now onwards, who will go to this UK? For that people, so this DCC will apply. This will not apply for the people who already left India, who are already working in UK for temporary period. So that is the meaning of this article title, guys. Okay, how you can get a question? As I said in your yesterday's class, recently double contributions convention is in use. What it is? Under that ABCD option based question is formed. And this one is recently India signed DCC agreement with which of the following countries? Option A UK, option B US, option C Australia, option D New Zealand. Like that, the countries which are in use will be given in this options. You have to remember clearly it is between India and UK. And third type of question is consider the following statements regarding DCC. Under that, it can give you 2 to 3 statements and it may ask you to identify correct or incorrect statements. And UPSC can give you a question, the new question format. Like they'll give you 3 statements. Under that, again, statement 1 is supporting statement 2. Statement 2 and statement 3 are contradicting each other. So like that, UPSC can frame you a new format based question also on this topic. And you have to keep star mark for sure in 2027 prelims. There will be a question on this DCC. Okay. And yeah, no need of remembering this retrospective, but you have to know what exactly the meaning of this retrospective. That is more than enough. And now you guys, you have to know about what will be the benefits of this DCC. On this, UPSC can ask you a mains based question. The question can go in this way. Recently, India-UK trade deal came into effect. In that trade deal, the one important provision is about DCC. In the light of this statement, what are the advantages of DCC? And what challenges can India face? Like that, UPSC can ask you about challenges, provisions, benefits and measures. Okay, so these are the points that you have to see from mains point of view. I hope you understood how questions can be asked both in prelims and mains. Is that clear? Okay, now let us see the context. Context says that India-UK Double Contributions Convention, which allows Indian workers who are temporarily going to this UK, will have exemption from paying social security contributions in their host countries for 60 months. That means nothing but for 5 years there is no need of paying of the social security contributions in UK. And it is not retrospective. Retrospective is nothing but it will not apply to Indians who are already working in UK. Only now Indians, if they go after once this trade deal came into effect, for that people only this DCC will apply, not for earlier Indians who already left India and who already working in UK. That is this context. And you know about this DCC, full form is Double Contribution Convention. Okay, what is this Double Contribution Convention? It is nothing but if Indian workers who went to UK for working in UK for temporary period, they have to pay this social contribution in UK and as well as in India, in the both the sides. Because of this, what happened? There will be increased financial burden, and that will leads to double payment of social security in India and as well as UK. So after once this finalization of this agreement, now Indian workers, they need not pay their social contribution in UK. So if they're paying in India, it is more than enough. Okay, that is for 5 years. That is about this DCC. And what are the benefits here? Come on, tell me guys. What are the benefits of this kind of double contribution convention? Okay, that will reduce the financial burden on Indian workers who went to UK for temporary work. Next. Think and tell me. Online students, tell me guys. Is that only financial burden? Huh? Come on. If they're not paying social security contribution in UK, they can save that money whatever they are earning in UK. What is this UK currency? Huh? Is that same with US dollar? Then what is the currency of UK? Huh? Pounds? Okay, so they can save that and they can send back to their family members. Obviously, what happened? Remittances will increase. Yes, and we can gain more foreign currency. We can maintain forex reserves in our country. If forex reserves are more, can we increase the confidence of investors in India? Yes, we can increase the investor confidence and we can attract more and more foreign investments into our country. Next. Other things. Come on, think guys, you can do it. A rapid industrialization can happen. Okay, now let us see what are the positive impacts. First one is around 90% of Indian professionals in UK, they can benefit with this agreement. And there are approximately 75,000 of Indian workers, they'll go to this UK every year. So these people will be getting benefited. And next one here is, it will increase their savings of around 23% of their salary in UK. And they can send this 23% back to India as remittances. And next one is, it will also reduce the cost of overseas employment. Because of this, we can increase competitiveness of Indian service sector in UK. We can send more and more Indians to UK for temporary work, and after they come back to India, again they'll bring technology and they will implement that. They will use the technology in India that will lead to overall growth and development of our country. So this will be the overall positive impacts of this DCC. Okay, now let us see the next article. Read out the title. BSF initiates technical study to fence marshy Sundarbans. Okay, what is the keyword? BSF. What is the full form of BSF? Yes, Border Security Force. And my question is, where this Border Security Force guards? Yes, India, Pakistan and India, Bangladesh. These two countries' international border is guarded by BSF. Now tell me, India, Bhutan border is guarded by IT. India, China border. India, China border is ITBP, Indo-Tibetan Border Police Force. Then India, Nepal and India, Bhutan. India, Myanmar. SSB, Sashastra Seema Bal. Okay, you have to see about India and its international borders, states which are sharing border with different countries, because this is the statement given in 2026 examination. They gave question from geography and they gave 3 statements. In that, one is the state which is Rajasthan is sharing the largest border with largest international border, like that they gave the statement. That means you need to know clearly political map of India and see which countries with which we are sharing the boundary, and you have to see states which are sharing border with which countries, and next the largest and the smallest. You need to know clear cut idea of India map for sure, because in UPSC they asked question 2026. Who knows, it can ask another question in the same format in 2027. Okay, you have to be thorough with maps. And many students, they always confuse with northeastern part. Okay, so you have to see clearly the location of northeastern states of our country. Okay. Yes, now here BSF will be providing security across this India, Pakistan and India Bangladesh border. The major problem with India Bangladesh border, what are the major problems of India Bangladesh border? Illegal migration. Do we have complete fence? Mostly our international borders are guarded by or drawn by natural borders. Okay, so this is Bangladesh. Actually, it is not exact shape. Just imagine this is Bangladesh. And mostly our border is guarded by natural borders. We have rivers in between. The major problem with this river is, can we go and can we lay an iron fence or steel fence there? No, it is not possible. So because of this, recently there is one article which said that in this rivers we can use this crocodiles and snakes, and they will be acting as natural fence. And now there is one more idea which proposed by the government is, we can use the Sundarbans and we can have this natural fence between India and Bangladesh border. So for that proposal, now our BSF is starting a technical study, like whether this is going to be work out or not, whether it is feasible or not, whether it is like economically viable or not. All these things, this study is going to be seen. And once this study releases the report, we can have a clear-cut idea like whether we can go for using of Sundarbans or not. Okay, so why I took this topic is, in your environment and ecology, Sundarbans is very important. And on this Sundarbans, many a times UPSC asked prelims question. In 2020, I guess, if I'm not wrong, there was a question on the Sundarbans and they asked about kidneys. Normally, we'll call this Amazon forest as lungs. So kidneys, they asked about kidneys. Kidneys are nothing but the wetlands. Why the Sundarbans are called as kidneys? Because they'll remove waste. Okay, like that. They gave the question on what is the role played by the Sundarbans. So here you have to see exactly the location of Sundarbans. And in the Sundarbans, we can see one famous tree called as Sundari trees. Do you know this? The name of the trees in the Sundarbans is Sundari trees. You have to see about the special features of this Sundari tree. And next you have to see about what is the ecological role played by the Sundarbans. Okay, from mains point of view also, you may get a question on wetlands. Wetlands, what is the importance of wetlands? What is the ecological importance, economical importance, societal importance, everything you may get a question on wetlands. Okay, so here your work is, you have to do some research related to Sundarbans today, and I'll be giving you based question on this Sundarbans as part of daily answer writing practice today. Okay, now let us see this article. Our Union Ministry of Home Affairs plans to fence about 90 kilometers of India-Bangladesh border in marshy Sundarban region of West Bengal by using this special trees called as Sundari trees. Okay, and now BSF, that is nothing but Border Security Force, started a study related to feasibility, whether we can build a fence or not. So economically, is it viable or not? Ecologically, is it feasible or not? They are going to see this. So why they came up with this step? If they are going for this fencing, it will be ensuring our national security. Why? Because the problem is illegal migration, drug trafficking, armed trafficking, and especially one more problem between India and Bangladesh border is cow vigilantism. Do you know this? Illegal smuggling of cows. Because Bangladesh is Islamic country, they consume beef, right? And India is a Hindu country. We will worship cows as our sacred animal, and there's a good population of cow, and even you know that India is the second largest producer of milk in the world. So here illegal smuggling of cows will happen across this India and Bangladesh border. To control that also, we need to have this kind of fencing. And this one is mostly they will prefer this Sundarbans. This, and do you know the Sundarbans area? So here in this area we have this Sundarbans. Sundarbans are nothing but the largest mangroves. So what are these mangroves? These are the trees which are mainly present at intertidal zone. That means land plus water. Wherever this land and water meets, that will form a marshy area. In that marshy area, what happens? These plants will grow. The special features of this mangrove trees are, normally if you take the soil, soil will have air spaces, soil will have even water particles in that. So what happens in this marshy area is entirely the soil is mixed with water, which is saturated with water. So there will be no air spaces. That air spaces in the soil is very important for the plant. So because of this, whatever the roots which are going inside, some roots will come outside like this. On this, they will be having pores. Through these pores, it will be absorbing air which is required for that trees. These are called as pneumatophores. That is a one feature that you have to remember related to this mangroves. And one more thing here is, actually they will present at this intertidal zone. Here we have Bay of Bengal, right? As you all know that cyclones commonly formed in this Bay of Bengal. Because of that cyclones, there will be very fast movement of wind happens during the cyclones. Then what happened? Whenever this wind moves at 120 kmph, 140 kmph, what happened? It can uproot the trees. So to prevent that, they will be having one more root system. The roots you can see on the level of the soil, and they will provide support to this plant in that tough condition. Those are called as prop roots or stilt roots. This is PYQ in 1994. Okay. So here in mangroves, which kind of roots are seen on the surface? They are called as prop roots or tilt roots. They will provide support for that plant. Okay. So in this way, you may get question even in your environment and ecology in prelims. Like, consider the following features of mangroves. Which of the above are the features? Which of the above are not the features? Like that, you may get question. If they give that kind of question, they'll give you about pneumatophores. They will be giving you about prop roots. Just open Google and just see images of mangrove trees. Then you can see this kind of roots. In many movies also, they will be showing this kind of prop roots, especially whenever there is a fighting happens between hero and villain. Sometimes the villain will fall on this pneumatophores and he will be killed there. I don't know whether you have watched that kind of or observed that kind of scenes or not. Even you can see this prop roots. Whenever if any fisherman is going in that area, so he will be touching that and he will be getting support to move his boat. I don't know whether you have observed that or not, but these are nothing but these are the plant modifications which are living in that location. And one more topic you have to focus is adaptation. In your environment in ecology, you will be studying about different types of trees present in different locations, different biomes. For example, if the plants which are grown in this evergreen forest, what happens? There will be no shedding of leaves. And evergreen forest, we can see different canopy. Do you know this canopy? Big trees we have, small shrubs we have, medium trees we have. So like that we have a thick canopy. Because of this thick canopy, even sunlight will not able to fall on the ground. So what are the small species of plants which are there at the ground level? They will not get sunlight. If they not get sunlight, will they go for photosynthesis? There is no chance of photosynthesis without sunlight. So what happened? We can see a plant group called as epiphytes. Epiphytes will be seen on the branches of this big plants to receive sunlight. This is also one PYQ. Epiphytes are seen in which of the following biome? That is in evergreen rainforest. So like that, based on the location where that plant is located, they will be adapting to that situations. Those are called as plant adaptations. On this, UPSC can ask you a question, and many a times UPSC asked question on these adaptations. For example, to make you understand, I think you might have seen many desert plants. What are the main features of these desert plants? Cactus. They are called as succulents. Yes. If you pierce your finger into them, what happened? Water will come out. No. Those are called as succulents because they will store water. Because they will not get water every time. In deserts, normally the rainfall is very less and availability of water is very less. So because of this, the plants which are living in that condition will be adapted to that entire environment. They will try to store water. And next one is they will be having greasy coating so that they will prevent transpiration. And next one is they will be having very deep roots so that they can absorb water from the ground. So like that, every plant based on their geography, based on their environment, they will be getting adapted. So in the same way, mangroves also got adapted to that environment. Because of that, they developed this nematophodes, they developed this crop roots. Okay, and even they are saline or marshy plants. And I want to tell one more interesting fact here. I don't know whether you know that or not, but this is the thing which is going to be happen in future. The major thing here is, they are present at intertidal location. That means they are present at saline water. Yes, water, our ocean water, sea water is saline water, right? And they are located at this saline, in this salt water only. So because of this, those plants are called as saline plants. That means, can I say they are salt tolerant plants or not? They are salt tolerant plants. The major problem which is happening now is there is decreasing of groundwater. Yes or no? Why there is decreasing of groundwater? Climate change is happening, no rainfall. We are not going for refreshing, or we are not going for refilling of water in our aquifers. And what we are doing is we are drawing whatever the amount of water which is present in the ground, and we are using it for agriculture purpose, irrigation purpose, whatever it may be. So because of this, day by day the level of water is decreasing. And what happens is, whenever the groundwater level is decreasing, whenever we are drawing water, whatever the minerals which is present there will be coming out. So because of this, our soil will become saline soils. So what happens in the saline soils? If you are going for agriculture, obviously the agriculture productivity will be reduced. So now we are using this gene therapy or genetic engineering, and we are isolating the genes from this mangroves because they are salt tolerant plants. We are isolating the salt tolerant genes in that, and we are adding in our paddy which we can grow in the plains. Because of this, if we are growing that paddy which is having the salt tolerant genes, can produce more. That will leads to good agriculture productivity, so that we can ensure food security. So our scientists are focusing on this isolating of salt tolerant genes or saline genes from this mangroves, and they are inserting in our regular paddy, and in future we are going to get this salt tolerant paddy crops, which will helps us to maintain good agriculture produce, so that we can ensure food security. Everything is interconnected. If you don't know anything, you cannot connect the points. You cannot understand what exactly the concept is. So for that reason, the basic understanding is very important. Okay. If you know basics, then only you can understand all these things. Okay, where am I? Okay, what are the challenges now? The challenge here is we have extremely difficult terrain. So if you are going for this fence in this area, it is difficult, so that we are using some natural things. And next one here is, even we have wildlife sanctuary zones here. If you are disturbing everything, means what happened? The movement. Again, one more story you need to know here. Okay. So for example, let us take this as a habitat of animal. Here we have Bangladesh like this. Here we have Bangladesh like this. This is India part, this is India part, Bangladesh here. So this entire region, for example, is a forest region where we have which animal can be seen in this mangrove region? Famous animal. Have you heard this Royal Bengal tigers? Royal Bengal tiger is commonly seen in this mangroves. Okay, so let us take this as the entire habitat of this Royal Bengal tiger. And now we are going for building of a fence like this to stop illegal migration. Are we stopping only illegal migration? We are even stopping the movement of this tiger. Because of this, what happened? The habitat of this tiger will be reduced. There is reduced habitat. So if there is reduced habitat of the tiger, if it wants to go for breeding, what it have to go? It have to go for breeding with animals which are located in this only the small habitat. Right? Then what happened? That will leads to breeding within the members of that habitat. This concept is called as inbreeding. They are not going for outbreeding. Whenever they are going for inbreeding for generations, what happens? That will leads to genetic disorders. Right? So here there is a problem of genetic disorders in animals also. So there is normally, what is the color of a tiger? Black strips on orange color feather. Yes, can you imagine this tiger image? Yes. So here what is happening is, there is one disease called as pseudo-melanistic tiger. Have you heard this? There is one genetic disorder called as pseudo-melanistic tiger. What is the melanin? It is a pigment which is responsible for your skin color, no? If melanin is more exposed, then what happened? Black color. If melanin is less exposed, light color, white color, we'll call light color, dark color, chamanchaya, different names. I don't want to say that names. So actually what happens here is, in the pseudo-melanistic tiger, rather than orange with black strips, we can see entirely like black color tiger with very less orange strips. So this is because of this kind of inbreeding, because of habitat loss, because of whenever they're going for breeding within a very small population. Understood? So this is also one challenge we are going to have in future. Do you know the color of carrot earlier? What is the color of carrot? Orange. It is not orange. Not brown. It is like reddish, but now it is orange because of this kind of genetics, genetic engineering. And even beetroot color is not even this wine red color. Earlier it was another color, but it has been changed because of this kind of genes. In the same way, now we are seeing tiger with orange strips and black strips. In future generations, we have to show only black color tiger. Once upon a time, we had this orange and black stripes tiger, but now your generation has to see only this black. So this kind of changes can happen in entire that species. This is also one challenge. Now we are faced this problem of pseudo-melanistic tiger in India because of loss of habitat. This is also there in news. Clear? Okay. Yeah, see this next article, guys. Marginal dip in number of rural job scheme workers. You know about this rural employment scheme? What is that? MG Narega, replaced by VBG Ramji. What is the full form? Viksit Bharat Guarantee for uh, Ajivika Mission Gramin. So under this scheme, what government is providing? Employment in rural areas for how many days? 125 days. Next, weekly payments. If they are not getting payment on weekly, they'll get compensation per day. So much, so and so amount. And next one is, now it is centrally sponsored scheme. Earlier it was center sector scheme. And next, and even 60 days of pause during the seasons when people can get the jobs or employment opportunities in agriculture. Next, any other? Okay, now this article is saying that we shifted from MG Narega. We shifted from MG Narega to VBG Ramji. And now because of this shift, there is dip. Dip means nothing but decrease in registered and active workers. Now tell me guys why. Why there is dip? So here this VBG Ramji is more benefited rather than this MG Narega for the people. Increased number of days, and there is universal payment of 300 rupees per day. Next one is central sponsored scheme. Weekly payments. Earlier they don't know when they'll get their wages, but now weekly payments. Even if they're not getting weekly payments, there is also a provision of compensation. Then why there is dip? What is the reason? What do you think? Okay, technological exclusion is one important. Next. Come on, think guys, what are the reasons? And next here, this article is saying that Bihar, UP and Telangana accounted for large portion of net fall of registered workers and decline in active workers. So this is the data given, and in these three states there is reduced registration of workers. Okay, the major problem here is, as you said, technology, facial based recognition and verification. That is a major problem. And next one here is, now this scheme is centrally sponsored scheme. That means state has to bear some amount of funds. Already states are facing lots of financial constraints. And because of this, again, they are not taking more number of registrations of workers. Okay. States itself, they are not showing interest to implement this. These are the two major reasons why there is reduced registrations of workers. Okay, see this next article guys. China's Great Green Wall tames desert growth, but fight not over. What does it mean? What is the meaning of this title? What do you think? It is talking about China's Great Green Wall. Tames desert growth means you have to know the meaning of this small words. Unless and until if you don't know the meaning, then you cannot break what exactly the meaning of that. Why? Because in your mains you have this essay paper. In that essay they'll give only just quote. On that quote you have to write around 1200 words of essay. So if you're good at deciphering that, then only you can understand the meaning of that essay, and then only you can write essay as per the demand. If you don't know that, then it will be difficult to understand exactly the meaning. If you are understanding that meaning wrongly, then you will write a wrong essay. Will you get marks? For sure you will not get any marks. So try to understand the meaning of that titles from now onwards. Come on guys. China's Great Green Wall tames desert growth. It is nothing but because of this Great Green Wall of China, it reduced this desert growth. It made this desert growth into control. But there are some challenges. Here what exactly you have to see? You have to see about this project of Great Green Wall of China. And next, in the similar lines, different countries in the world also came up with this. Even in India also we started this green wall project. In which area? In Aravallis, to control expansion of Thar desert. So now tell me types of deserts in the world. How many types of deserts do we have? Yes, we have two types of deserts. One is cold desert, next one is hot desert. Hot desert means nothing but hot desert means where they will be. Understand the concepts, guys. So here, as you said, we have hot deserts and we have cold desert. Hot deserts are also called as tropical deserts. Cold deserts are called as temperate deserts. That means deserts located in tropical region between Tropic of Cancer to Tropic of Capricorn are called as hot deserts. And in temperate region to polar region, if we can see the deserts, they are called as cold deserts or temperate deserts. Now tell me examples of hot deserts. Sahara desert, Thar desert, next, only two. Tell me temperate deserts, cold deserts. Gobi desert, Atacama desert. Next, you have to do map work. Then only you can remember. So try to take world map. And what you have to do is you have to point out deserts. You have to point out the grasslands. We have tropical grasslands and temperate grasslands. You have to take separate maps for these themes. First one is deserts, second one is grasslands, and next one is you have to see different mountains like folded mountains, block mountains, and next you have to point out the rivers. You have to point out the lakes. I'm not asking to point out every lake, but major important lakes. And next one is you have to see the locations where this uranium is present, location where we have oil reserves in the world. Like that you have to point out the locations. If there is something in news, you have to separately see the locations. On that, UPSC can ask you a question, guys. Every year, at least minimum 3 questions you can get on this mapping itself. Okay, and it is comparatively easily we can do, because you will be studying the content in your world geography. Try to open your atlas and try to locate that. In 2025, they asked about folded and block mountains. Okay, like that they may ask. In 2025, they asked about even lake. Through which lake this equator passes? That is a question. They gave 3 lakes, but answer is none of them. Okay, you have to see. I am giving you the examples also, so that you can understand how you have to prepare. If you do PYQs, then you can understand like which areas you have to focus and which areas you can take light. So for that reason, always we will recommend you to do more than 40 years of PYQs. Then only you can understand exact language of UPSC and how they will frame the question and how the changing of question format is happening by year on year. And you will be aware about that. You will not get that much tensed after seeing that kind of questions in examination hall. Okay? Yeah. Now let us come to this article. So this article is saying that China is continuing its decades-long Great Green Wall project to combat desertification in northern China. In northern China, they have a desert, and from decades onwards, they are continuing this project. It is mainly focusing on to reduce this expansion of desert in this area. And workers, they use a simple technique called as straw checkerboards. Nothing but straw checkerboard is nothing but they will take like this much arm length of stick. In that stick, they will try to keep the grains and they will keep inside the ground and they will just water it. So the grains will be sprouting out in that stick itself and they will be coming out. Normally, you know this mokkajonna, right? Sweet corn or hard corn. So what they'll do is after taking out of that corn seeds, they will cut that into this much size. And inside that there will be a soft material. I don't know whether you played with that or not. Inside there will be soft material. In that soft material, what they will do insert the seeds and they'll take that entire corn and they will try to plant it out. Why? Because that will provide moisture, and even that is a biodegradable material. Whenever it is biodegrading in the ground, what happens? That soil will be getting nourished. They'll get nutrients because of this biodegradable material. That will promote the growth. But we Indians will not use that kind of techniques. But we are learning from different countries now this kind of techniques. Okay, they will be using that kind of things. Why? Because the plant saplings will be getting moisture continuously, and they are growing that kind of plants in this desert region. So there will be no possibility of getting water availability every time. So whatever water we are spraying, that can store, and even they will biodegradable, and they will provide efficient nutrients to that plant growth. So that is the technique they will focus on. And why they started this is desertification. Why it happens? Because of drought. Drought is nothing but very less or no rainfall in that area, and because of overgrazing. You know this overgrazing? Yes, overgrazing and farming that removed vegetation, that will causes sometimes damage to the soil and increased vulnerability to sand and as well as sandstorm. So because of this, there will be formation of desert and expansion of desert. And actually what happens, why this expansion of desert happens is, in deserts we can see the wind will be moving at a very high speed. Why wind will be moving at a very high speed? The sand will be absorbing more amount of heat. Whenever the sand will be absorbing more amount of heat, which pressure can be seen there? Low pressure. Whenever this low pressure is created, what happens according to pressure gradient force? Winds will be always moving from high pressure to low pressure. And the speed of this wind will be based on the temperature difference. So if temperature difference is more, okay, I'll explain that clearly. Okay, normally in the desert we have sand, and the sand will be absorbing more amount of heat. So we have high temperature here. Whenever there is high temperature, low pressure will be formed here. For example, let us take here we have high pressure. Here the temperature is, for example, let us take, it is hot peak summer in Thar desert. If the temperature is 50 degrees centigrade, nearby if we have 45 degrees temperature, compared to here the temperature is less here. That means comparatively we have high pressure here. Winds will move in this direction, and the difference here is just 5 degrees. For example, let us take here we have forest area, temperature is cool here, and the temperature is 30 degrees centigrade. So what is the difference here? 20 degrees centigrade of difference of temperature here. From here winds will try to move here. So from there the winds will move fast, or from here the winds will move fast? Right side. So why? Because based on the change of temperature, we can identify the fastness of the movement of wind. So here we have only the difference is 5 degrees centigrade. Here the difference is 20 degrees centigrade. So if winds are moving from here to here, always wherever there is the very high change in temperature, there we can see the faster movement of winds. Then what happens whenever the winds are moving at a very fast rate? What happens? The sand here will be taken away and it will be spreading here. Then what happens? That will leads to expansion of desert. Okay, so here to control this phenomena, what we can do here is, from which direction the wind is moving, we will be identifying that, and in which direction the spreading of desert is happening, we will identify that, and in that area we will try to plant the trees. So that what happen? This wind speed will be stopped by this plants, so that there will be stopping of spreading of desert. That is called as Great Wall of China. Clear? And they started around in 1960s, if I am not wrong. In 1960s they started, and even today also they are continuing this project. Finally they identified that because of this project, they stopped this expansion of desert towards north of China. But the major problem is, whenever we are growing plants, they will produce fruits, then they will produce seeds. So if the seeds will fall down, if there is any rainfall, they will sprout and they will leads to the growth of new saplings. But that is in desert region. Because of this, there is very less rainfall. So because of this, seeds or grains remain fragile. There is no sprouting of grains. They have to go for always manual sowing of seeds. Okay, that is a one major problem. And next one here is drought is still continuing there, climate vulnerability is there, and that is also leading to land degradation to some extent. And there is also like lack of political will. They are doing from 1960s onwards. If they're not getting proper outcomes, will they show interest towards them? So even there is lack of political will now they are seeing in this government. Okay, so those are the some important challenges you are seeing in this Great Green Wall of China. And you have to make a note of this kind of similar projects in different parts of our country. And you can use this as an example for an answer wherever you are writing about how to control desertification, because we have United Nations Convention on Desertification also. Because of this article will become very important while giving examples or measures to control desertification problem. Okay, see this article guys. Export gains. India's trade weaknesses are becoming episodic, its strengths and structural. So this article is talking about overall India's trade. Trade includes exports and as well as imports. If you see the trade here, the recent trade data for month of June 2026 says that there is strong India's exports. But the problem here is global uncertainties are there, and even there is trade deficit. Why there is trade deficit? We are importing more costly goods and we are exporting cheap goods. That is a major reason, guys. And you know that once again geopolitical challenges started in West Asia. What are the ceasefire signed between US and Iran that had been broken down? And again, they started retaliation attacks on one another. Because of this, what happened? There is increased rise of prices of oil in the market. Okay, so here mostly our trade is affected by external factors. External factors means nothing but geopolitical concerns or tensions like Russia-Ukraine crisis you can take, West Asian crisis you can take, and second one is tariffs. US earlier imposed 50% of tariffs on Indian goods. So like that, in that way, whatever the external factors are there, that will be impacting Indian trade. And next one is there is also a very slow growth of service exports now. Okay, and next one is we are importing more and more electronic components also, for example semiconductors. And even there is volatility in global oil. We don't know how much price will be the gold today and tomorrow. And even fertilizer had been stopped, and this time again monsoon impacts are there on Indian agriculture. So because of all these things, now this kind of trade imbalance is happening in our country. And now you need to think about what kind of measures we can take to overcome this situation. That may be your main question. Okay, see these questions, guys. First question is about DCC, Double Contribution Convention, and there are four things. Which of the following are objectives? What are the objectives of DCC? First one is reducing the cost of overseas employment. Second one is facilitating labor mobility between the countries. Third one is eliminating income tax on foreign workers. Fourth one is preventing duplication of social security contributions. Nowhere we discussed about income tax, right? It is about social security only. So we can eliminate this third one. And next one is obviously we are reducing the duplication. There is no need of paying social security contribution in India and UK simultaneously. So answer will be option B, 1, 2 and 4. Clear? Say this next question, guys, about Sundarbans. First one, it is world's largest mangrove ecosystem. It is shared between India and Bangladesh. It is recognized as UNESCO's World Heritage Site. Next one is the Royal Bengal tiger is a flagship species found here. For sure, Royal Bengal tiger is there. So whenever you're seeing any national park or any ecosystem, try to see which animal is seen there. For example, Gir National Park, Gir Asiatic lions, and one is grey hornbill. And Kaziranga National Park, one horned rhinoceros. And one important river, Okay, recently we discussed about dolphins, gangetic dolphins. And next one is crocodiles. So which area? So you have to see that. On that UPSC can ask you a question. Okay, so here Sundarbans is famous for Royal Bengal tiger. Option 4, sorry, 4 will be there in your option. And see next one, world's largest mangrove ecosystem. Yes, that means one should be there. And you came up with this 50-50. If you're coming with this 50-50 also, your chance of clearing prelims will be more, guys. In that way, try to eliminate options. And this one is, it is shared between India and Bangladesh. Yes. So answer will be D, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay. So in this way, strategically try to solve your prelims based questions. Don't go randomly. Don't think that if this one go, nothing will happen to me. Don't get into that mindset. Even if you are keeping one question intentionally wrong, sometimes that problem, that one wrong answer can make your name out of the list. Because if you are making one question wrong, how many marks you will be losing? 2.06. So 2.6 marks you will be losing. Okay, if you are making that correct means you will be getting 2 marks. Okay, don't do that kind of mistakes. Intentionally let it be. If this one goes, nothing will happen to me. Don't think that way. Okay, that's all guys. By this I'm concluding. Thank you so much for watching, and if you like this class, please do hit the like button and please to share this class. And if you want to join our GS Foundation course, you can contact us on this number 8074765513. And the new batch is going to be started from this 18th of this July, guys. Don't miss this opportunity, and we are providing both on online and offline. And the medium of classes will be only English. Okay, for more details, please to contact us. And if you want to meet me directly, you can visit our academy, which is located in Ashok Nagar, Hyderabad. And I will be available from morning to evening in the office itself. And I wish you all the best. Thank you so much, guys.